Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Well, it's Colin here, bloody again. I'm about my 11th video. I've just put one on about the supply of money, and that'll have to be Prime Minister to get this country moving. Now, in this video, I got so much to say, and I sort of don't know where to start in a way. I don't want to repeat myself too much bloody at all, because it'd be the same video if you said everything the same. But on the same token, it pays to repeat things because it embeds it deeper into the person. Like you say, put one stroke of pencil over a page and you get a rubber, the kind of rubber that's pencil rubber, and then you could rub the line out. But if you went over that same line again with a pencil bloody again, with that same pencil over the same line, it's going to be harder to erase. And then if you keep going on 3 or 4 times or more, it's going to go right through the page, and you've torn right through the page, and it's buggered. You fucked it up. You see, you buggered the thing up because you went over it too many times. But you see how by going over it again strengthens things. And when you say something a bloody again, it can strengthen that position. I could mention it again about what I put on my last video, how Michael Joseph Savage was in power with the recession, the big depression in New Zealand in the 30s. Just in my last video, what did I say? I said to you that the factories were closed because there's no money around. But when Michael Joseph Savage increased the money supply, the people who had factories said, oh, we'll open up our factories. And they opened up their factories, and come 1938, I believe there was no unemployment bloody at all in New Zealand. It's a key point to mention again. I can't keep mentioning it too many times, but I mentioned in my last video, mentioned it bloody again on this one. You see, we've got to move things along with the money supply. See, this is a very important thing. It creates work, you see, money. You see, poor John Key, they might have to buy for him one of these walkers, these old elderly walkers that people walk along with, these walkers, because the poor guy, he might even take a fit soon if he hasn't already done so. These pitiful 50 cents an hour. See, as I say, you speak to Grant Robinson, come out with a different bloody idea. See, the Labour Party, as I say, are going to increase the wages to 20 smackers an hour, I believe, next year. So you must vote for Labour, or unless you voted for New Zealand First, the Honourable Winston Peters. He's into the raising the money too. So you see, it's very important that we get this going, actually, because you see, once you put money into the economy, it creates work, you see. But as I say, if you put too much in, now there's one other thing that might crop up too, we have to address too in this, is that some of these construction workers who are on about, say, 24 smackers an hour, some of them, we got so much money that they didn't come to work the next day and that. So if that's going to happen too much, we see that people are not working because they got a lot of money, then what we might have to do is to make the 500 smackers an hour on those who are only to work a 40-hour week. And then it will stop this business of, but it might still work, but probably not really, because see, if they're not going to work, you see, it's work that runs the country, not money, but money gets them going. In fact, the Holy Spirit revealed unto me some years ago, well, I don't know how long ago, that we don't need money to run a country. And when I saw that, what he had shown me, I saw that we'd all been had by this money system. We'd actually all been had by it. We're all tied up with this money system as if it's the only thing. And our eyes haven't been opened, that we don't need it. And I can't remember it exactly, but I can. But I just sort of don't want to go into it at the moment in a way, because it kind of it gets off the subject. I can, in a way. I'd have to recollect it myself. Actually, I kind of I haven't got quite up on it. What I got, I got the basics of the idea. Perhaps I could. What's the time? How much have I got on here? What was it? 15 minutes. I've only 5 minutes. I've only been 5 minutes, I think. Not so bad. Now, where am I now? I got a bit lost here. I can get easily forgetful where I am if I get sidetracked. Oh, that's right, a no money system in the world. So it works like this, from what I can gather, like you do your 8 hours on a job, that's been accepted by the government, and that's your job that you're doing. So then you can go to and help yourself to whatever you want in a shop or anything. You show the attendant that you're working, and he lets you through or something, and then you can shop whatever you like. And because you've done your 8 hours on a job, and they do, everybody else does their 8 hours. So you do your 8 hours on a job that's been accepted by the government, then that's your 8 hours work. So now you can go and pick up somebody else's 8 hours in the form of what you want to get. You want in a supermarket what you want, or you go into a shop what you want, and you get it for free. And the equivalent, as long as you can show that to the shop assistant that you are working. You're working on a job. That's right. You're doing your 8 hours on your particular job. And we'll put it this way. Just supposing, for the sake of the illustration about money, that just for the sake of the illustration, that they burnt all the paper money in New Zealand. Banks burnt all the paper money, and then they melted down all the coins, and there was no money bloody about at all, no paper money. So how would it be stupid to everybody to stop working because they can't get any money, and then eventually they all die in New Zealand, just die of hunger, and he-day for rats, and I don't know if there's any vultures in New Zealand, but I don't think so. But rats, he-day for rats, and rats just eat up the bodies of the dead New Zealanders because they didn't have any money, because they burnt all their money and that. But supposing somebody come up with an idea and says, look, all this money's been burnt up, but I'll tell you what, let's just all go back to work and we'll sort something out about it. Don't give up, just go back to work. And so they did, and then they started to say, well, look, you're working, just go to a supermarket and show that you're working, and we'll get this, so that you're working, and you get stuff for free there. And so in other words, it's the same thing what I've been telling you, that you do your 8 hours, and then everybody does their 8 hours on a job that's been approved by the government, not, say, polishing an old lady's brass every day. She wanted to come for a house and polish her brass and that. We don't want that bloody shit. We want people that are working in factories, say, processing corn or something, and we can export them to Japan and things like this. So you see that by money is not the answer. Like, it just the answer really, you can get by, yes, without money. You can just, as I say, work without money, and you do your 8 hours. That's right, on a job that's been approved by the government. That's right, you're doing your 8 hours, and everybody's doing their 8 hours. So if you want, say, a taxi to the airport, then the taxi driver's doing his 8 hours, so you're doing your 8 hours somewhere, and then you go to the airport, and then you get a free air ticket, a free air ride to where you're going, whether it be even overseas or anywhere, because the airways people are doing their 8 hours. And then you arrive at your destination, say Auckland, say you're going to Auckland, and then you get a taxi again, free, he's doing his 8 hours, and you go to a motel, and they're doing their 8 hours looking after people for accommodation, and so you get free accommodation there, as long as you can show them that you are a working man. You got to show your identification and then your photo ID and proper identification of where you're working and that. And so you see how we can get by without money instead of being rotting corpses on the ground because there's no money and we all die of hunger. There's no money to buy. You see how stupid you're relying on money. And the rats come and eat our dead bodies of New Zealanders, and the Australians won't come over because nobody's going to pay them, so. And we just end up rotting away, and plenty of work for blowflies to blow and all this, and so it's unnecessary, you know. I mean, it obviously wouldn't happen like that, you know, but just to show you how you're sort of relying on money. But that's just what came to me by the Holy Spirit some years ago, that we don't need money to run a country. So anyway, so we're looking at money here, so we've got to push money into the economy. See, otherwise you get strikes and bullshit. Well, not bullshit, I mean, they're asking for more money. Well, give them more money. Get things moving. Money's nothing. Money's only a reflection of the workforce. Like, for example, you look in the mirror, okay. Now, what do you see? You see yourself, okay, that's you in the mirror. But what it is, it's only a reflection of you. It's not you as such, in a way. It's you, but it's not you. The moment you walk away, the reflection's gone. And that really is all money is all bloody about. It's just a reflection of the workforce. Money is just nothing. It's work that runs the country, not money. Let's have a look at it again now. I'll mention this a bloody again because it's so very important. In the Depression in the 30s, factories were closed. No money. When Michael Joseph Savage increased the money supply, they opened up their factories. And in 1938, as I say, there was no unemployment in Wellington at bloody all because they raised up the money supply. You're going to tighten, the more you tighten up the money supply, the more trouble you're in. The more you release it, the better you are. As I say, to your bloody gain, the rich countries in the world are the countries that have got high wages. It can be done overseas. They could print money and just give it to them, US dollars, and could get them going. Did I mention to you about a friend of mine's got a book called Operation World? It comes out about every 10 years, so it's due out a bloody gain, and so I think it's more of a Christian publication than anything. But they do give the prosperity of countries in the world in relation to the United States. And you know, some of these countries in Africa are so incredibly poor that their prosperity is only 1% of the United States. Even South Africa is only 12% of the wealth of the United States. This is probably why that I believe, from what I hear, that there's a lot of lawlessness in South Africa, and there's a lot of murders, I think, in South Africa too, and a lot of money problems where if you want something, you've got to give a bit of money for it, and that, because there's a shortage of money. Now, just myself now, I've been busking in Courtenay Place for a while, and there was a guy there, young chap, As I say, because I'm fundraising. That's what I'm fundraising for. Big work in Africa. Reinhard Bonnke's work, actually. You can get it on YouTube. And well, he's just died, actually. But Reinhard Bonnke, he died about 3 weeks ago. Now, so anyway, I was in Courtenay Place doing my fundraising, busking. And there was a guy there, he'd been stealing out of my bowl, and I was very bloody annoyed because it was money less for the work I'm supporting. And one day he reached over, he went over and he got $1, and I was bloody annoyed because I tried to get it out of his hand, but he couldn't get it out very well, and so he walked on. And well, anyway, later on he shot back across the road or something. He grabbed something else. I didn't see what he grabbed. He grabbed something. Well, anyway, just recently, about a couple of weeks or so ago, I was getting money out of the bowl because I take my money out now because people can steal. And what happened is this guy came running over. So I thought it was one of the guys that had just given some money. So I looked down, I carried on, but it turned out it was the same guy that stole the $1 out. And incredibly, he began to pick the money out while I was picking out the money, and he also joined me in picking out the money as well. And I didn't quite catch on. Was too slow on the uptake. And it wasn't until he started to go away that I said to him, "You bastard." Well, anyway, just a bit after that, he came to me, he came on my side, and he said to me, he said, "Oh, sorry about the money or something." He said, I was hungry. And he had a bike there. He said, "Here, you can take this, it's yours." So I need some work on it, and I've got it sitting somewhere, and I need some work, so I might be able to sell it and get some money for the work I'm supporting. But you see, getting back to this poor cunt here in Wellington, he's probably a young chap, and he didn't have a job, you see. But you'll find if he was on 500 smackers an hour, he wouldn't come running over to get a bit of money out of my bowl, would he? Or even if he's on 8 to 5, an ordinary wage, say 18 odd smackers an hour, whatever it is, you see. You see, so it's like South Africa, you see, there's money problems in South Africa because it's not a very rich country, only 12% of the United States. But a lot of these poor countries, only 1%. There's a number of them. We looked them up. It's just bloody amazing how poor some countries are. And what's this time going here? I'm only on 18 minutes. Not so bad. So 18 minutes. That's not so bad. So you see how we need to increase the money supply. And people have got money. You know, I was in the United States a long time ago, actually, how long ago, when I was about 45 years ago or so. I was in the US, and somebody, I think, invited me for a meal over there, and I think it might have been a guy from a radio station. He came down and he invited me for breakfast. That's what they can do in the United States. See, they got money, you see. And I think 2 or 3 times people invited me for a meal in the United States. And anyway, this guy, it was probably him or something. Anyway, I noticed that a couple or so after they finished their meal, they left notes on the money on the where they were eating, just by where they were eating, and they walked out. Now, I thought for years that was their payment, but it cropped up that was probably a tip they'd given them. See, they not only got money for tips, but they just leave the money just there at the table. I mean, anybody could come and just take it, sort of thing, but at least they got plenty of money. You see, it's a rich country, the United States, you see. As I say, the rich countries are the countries that are the prosperous countries. More money supply, the higher the wages, yeah. So when New Zealand gets up to about 28 smackers an hour, which will probably come under the Labour Party, then you can you'll be even richer still and become to the top of the world, equal or even better than the US. And So you see, we must not tie up the money supply, we must release the money supply. Just print the money and just put it into circulation. Create work, you see. That's what we have to do. And no tie-up. You see, there's so many strikes going on, you see, and people are striking. It doesn't help the country when it strikes. There's another big thing that I want to put on that I've remembered now. I'll have to put another video on to do it. It's going to take a whole video. I'm just going to show you what money can do. This is a real beauty, probably revealed unto me. But what's the time? Yes, it's 21 minutes. You see, I've only got 9 minutes left. If I'm looking at, it's 20 minutes. Yeah, I've got 10 minutes, but it's too short to give this particular one, so I might put that on my next video. It's a real cracker of a one, just to show you a really great one, if I say so myself, but it's probably revealed unto me by the Holy Spirit, because he told me that he wants to heal the rift between the Christians and the world too, and he wants to, no doubt, heal up all his problems in New Zealand and around the world. And if we cooperate with him, we can do it. But if we don't cooperate with him, well, we don't, anything can happen to us. We've got to have his protection with us. So many New Zealanders have just not had protection. Look at the Tangawa disaster. 151 people drowned probably. The viaduct that they were to go over, it's been swept away. Now, I don't know why they didn't see that. It was dark, probably raining and dark, and they never would have bloody assumed that the viaduct would go. And when they went over there, there was nothing there, and down those things went to that swollen river, and the heavy engine would take it all down, and so all the carriages might have gone down to the bottom. Depends on how deep it was. It'd be pretty hard for them to get the door open, because of the pressure of the water there. So you'd have to take a deep breath. If you did manage to get out, pushed back the water and managed to get out, but you see, you'd be struggling to get out. You wouldn't have much breath left, maybe to get to the top. And so they died there, and in that terrible tragedy. See, these things shouldn't happen in New Zealand or anywhere. God knows the future. He knew that was going to happen, but there was nobody on board. None of those 151 people were living properly. Otherwise, if they were, at least God or the Holy Spirit would have stopped them from being on that train in the first place. So, we're looking here at protection, are we now? And that's right, it's we're looking at the money supply. That's right, on my next video, I want to really give you something very interesting about money. I've got it now, also to what money can do. Yeah, and that's a real eye-opener, actually. In fact, I think I'll try and make that my next video. And then in the meantime, see what you can do to help me by writing to the Olympic Committee, remember, and giving them an email that you want gems and that as for my 2 videos, and keep following me, and we can work on it and get New Zealand. In fact, you wouldn't even believe some of the things what the Holy Spirit can do for New Zealand. You wouldn't believe possibly that 5-year-old girls could crush the All Blacks, and they could defeat the All Blacks by about 156 points to 0. You wouldn't believe such a thing can be possible until you see it happen. It can be done, but of course it'd be the Holy Spirit that would be doing it, and that's the sort of thing I'd like to see happen, so that people will start to see that that there's something up here. There must be a God after all, and things like that. The atheists and the people that are troubled by this problem, calling sex dirty and different things that's made Christianity unpopular, because there's something wrong. You see, See, years ago I was handing out A.A. Allen's magazines. He was an evangelist from the United States, and he had a healing ministry, and there were some people healed in his magazine, and so I was going around somewhere in Hastings, I think it was, and handing these magazines into houses. There's quite a few magazines. And I remember one guy saying to me, he saw me coming, and he said, if it's religious, I don't want it. But we see that needs to be examined. You need to, what's my time? Excuse me, 26 minutes. Just on 26 minutes, I'll have to close. So the Holy Spirit wants to address these problems which are causing it. It's Christianity, they fuck things up. Sex seems to be one thing. For example, if you got a topless woman or something in a Christian magazine, they might look, you see, in so-called swearing business. We need to address all this. I remember years ago, I was in the Methodist Church in Wairoa, my hometown, small town between Napier and Gisborne, on the coast, a little small town called Wairoa, and I was depicted to be the pastor, the minister of this on the float. We had a float going, and I remember one guy saying to me, he looked up and I was acting as the minister on the float, and he said to me, I bet you swear as much as I do, or something like that. But he didn't realise, I think I swore more than him actually. And then years later, just recently, back now about 55 years or so later, just only the last 2 or 3 years of bloody go, I was in Courtenay Place, and this woman said, "Oh, it's a Christian here. Oh, don't swear. There's a Christian here," meaning me. "Oh, don't swear. Christian here." Bullshit. There's something wrong. It's one of the things that the Holy Spirit wants to address. But I haven't got time, you see, to go into it. You see, now 27 minutes. My time's up, so I'll have to close. So there's a lot of things to be addressed. But on my next video, I want to point out this great thing I've got in mind here. It was given to me about what can be done with money in New Zealand. This is a real cracker, so I want you to listen to my next video, if that's the one what it's going to be. I'll close now on this video, and keep following me, and then we can, with your help, we get things done. Because we've got to do our part. You see, Holy Spirit will do his part, but we can do our part. It's not really much. He can do the big side of it. We just got to sort of believe him and do the small matters, like just turn up at a stadium and such like. And then if 59,999 more people do the same thing, just turn up individually, then you've got 60,000 people as against this one person. Well, I must go, so I will catch up with you on my next video. Keep it within half an hour if I can. And so I will see you again on my next video. So keep following me. Colin again. Bye for now. Bye.